The alternative to not pursuing your dreams is a life where every day you're brushing your teeth, looking yourself in the mirror, going, man, I am not living the authentic life I wish I could live.
Christmas is just around the corner, coming up just around the bend. Holiday couldn't be here sooner. Holiday for family and friends.
Hello everybody, it's Dave Neal. Welcome to VLOGMAS Day 15. We're on the roof. It's windy. December's halfway over. Christmas is less than 2 weeks away. I'm a stand-up comedian and I got nowhere to be.
It's just around the corner.
The one thing that I was excited about for VLOGMAS is a chance to improve as a storyteller, as a chance to improve as a YouTuber, and to try some new things. So instead of just doing your typical pine cone scented videos 5 days in a row, I thought today I would come onto the roof, one of the windiest days in Los Angeles, and I thought I would just talk to the audience. 2020 is a weird time, isn't it? It's a weird time. I got nowhere to perform, I got nowhere to be, and I have no income. And in some ways, I've never been happier. It's the truth. And look, until the world gets put back together, this is the life we have. Let's make the most of it. It's a weird time. Hopefully it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And we're just here resetting the deck. It reminds me of when I used to play Sega Genesis in the late 90s. Whenever I was playing the baseball game, World Series Baseball, if you were losing the game in the ninth inning, you could just unplug the console and it would reset your stats. And I was a big fan of Mo Vaughn on the Red Sox, and it was my goal to give him the best numbers of anyone in the league. So whenever he wasn't doing well, I would just unplug the game and restart. And that kind of is what this year feels like. And I'm not saying I wasn't doing well before the pandemic, but I was off my tracks. You know, as a stand-up comedian, I was focused too much on floating by on my side jobs. I was swimming too far away from shore. I was too far out there, and the currents were so rough that I was just trying to survive. I was just trying to stay afloat. And I think the one thing that 2020 gave me is it just gave me a little bit of a life raft. It said, come to shore, let's regroup, let's find out what's working, let's find out what's not, and let's try some new things. I'm on the roof alone talking to you guys. That's it. I got a couple cameras and a microphone and whatever equity I put into me being me. And I hope that's enough. Life was too easy before 2020. Like, don't get me wrong, we've all got struggles. We've all got things we're working on. We're all trying to overcome adversity. But for most of us, we're not fighting a war. For most of us, we're not dying of hunger. For most of us, we're not really worried about what the next day will bring. And then 2020 hits. My side job that I relied on for the last couple years, they got rid of me. Never heard back from them. But what it taught me was, did I really need it? Was it really, fulfilling me creatively? No. It's almost like I was too busy, running around on the hamster wheel that I wasn't actually pursuing the world I wanted to live. And I think that's what 2020 taught me, is amongst all the other BS, it's like fight for yourself. Build and invest in the equity in you, because no company's going to look out for you. No company's going to provide you health care till you die. They're going to find ways around it. The minimum wage is there because if it wasn't, companies wouldn't pay it. You gotta invest in yourself. That's what 2020 has taught me. If it wasn't for my YouTube channel, which is modestly a tiny amount of money, I get donations, people send me gifts, it's amazing. Without those people believing in me, what am I doing? You spend a long time kind of figuring out your voice, but then when you do, hopefully you find a following, hopefully you find an audience, and then you can express those thoughts. And it really comes down to communication, right? You're just trying to communicate funny ideas where other people didn't see funny ideas. You're trying to see between the lines. Just like jazz, you got to learn the scale and then you play between the notes. That's what stand-up is. There's structure to it, but then you also throw the structure out. I'm on a goddamn roof right now. Where's the structure in that? So if there's even one person out there that's trying to figure out what the hell they want to do with the rest of their life, I challenge you. Find out what makes you want to get up in the morning and run as hard as you can to that. There was a quote that they used to say where, like, you got to pursue acting the way someone with their head on fire pursues a pool of water. It's the same way. You know, you do something because the paycheck's good. You do something because it looks reliable, because it provides a 401k. That's the safe bet. And they want you to be safe. But what did that get us? What did safety get us? I don't mean to be dramatic, but if you don't know exactly what it is you love to do, keep your eyes and ears open. Whatever gives you goosebumps, you just run in that direction. I feel gratitude knowing that while there might not be an audience standing in front of me right now, there is an audience out there. And with all things we pursue in life, just keep working at it. And, you know, the luck will bend in your direction. A lot of people ask me why I got into stand-up comedy, and let me tell you something. It's not anyone's first choice. No one ever grows up going, I want to be a stand-up comic. A couple wrong turns, a couple failed ideas, nowhere else to talk about it, you go on stage. It's always a breakup. You get fired. There's always something that happens that leads to the lonely life of a stand-up comedian. I thought it would be great today to get up on the roof and talk about stand-up, because in 2020, there's never been more of an isolated feeling than being a stand-up comic with no place to play. That's really what it is. And then when I decided to go on the roof today is when I found out it is the windiest day of the year. Most people think Los Angeles doesn't have bad weather. We just have weird weather. Like, you can see the palm trees moving. I got 2 different mic foams on my microphone so we don't get any wind ruffle. This is a windy day, folks. So, like, for me, stand-up, I never thought it could be a career path. I always loved the idea of performing, but I never really knew that you could do it. Like, you'd always see Chris Rock on stage on a special and go, that's amazing, but how do you get from point A to point B? And then what you find out is you go to an open mic and you see that every comic sucks. And that's the beauty when it comes to getting involved in a new activity, is seeing that everyone else sucks at it too. And you can suck at it together until one day you suck a little bit less than the next day, and then a little bit less than the next day, and then all of a sudden you can make a room laugh. And that's the goal, right? My first time ever doing stand-up comedy was at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. It was 8 years ago. And I remember right when I was about to go on stage, I was in the green room, and someone who was producing the show said to me, hey, look, just so you know, the feeling of being nervous is the same feeling of being excitement. Your body doesn't know the difference. And the idea behind that is use the energy to your advantage. I just watched this movie called The Prom on Netflix. It just came out, and the girl said she was nervous. And it was either James Corden or Nicole Kidman. Was it Nicole Kidman? Point is, she was nervous, and then they said, look, take that nerves and turn it into jazz hands, right? And that's the idea behind stand-up, is like, look, you might be nervous, but bring that energy on stage. Talk to the room. Relate to them. And that's kind of all that stand-up is relating to the audience, finding things that are funny in otherwise unfunny situations. Boy, 2020 is an unfunny year, right? What a weird year. I've only done a handful of sets since the pandemic started. I did one outdoor show, a couple shows in a tent. I did a show in an open-air garage.
I've been fat and skinny 4 times during the start of the pandemic. I just yo-yo. And the one thing I had to quit was porn. I had to stop. Thank you very much, somebody in the back, for quitting porn. Did you have to quit? Yeah, it's too much. You're stuck at home with the good Wi-Fi. It's too much. You got to stop. Here's the problem, though. They got the algorithm down on a lockdown. All the websites are in cahoots. So I quit porn. Next day, true story, I swear to God, YouTube starts recommending me collegiate pole vaulting women's. I'm cheering on Slovakia for no reason, okay? She got the pole, she's running with the things, she's looking good. I get the Barcelona invitation, just European pole vaulting. I don't know what it is.
And I did a show in a condominium outdoor lobby. You know, some places put up a plastic, wall. We've got a buffet table. This is going to be safe. This is going to be good. Boy, it's hard to do stand-up in Los Angeles. You got to literally come to people's homes to get them to show up to a show. You gotta show up at their door and be like, please, I'm downstairs. Hello, 3rd floor. Thank you. You're walking your dog. Get in here. Let's laugh. It's a weird career choice in today's terms, considering we can't really fully express ourselves. And you know, if you wanted to become a famous pianist, you could spend a lot of time at home practicing piano. But with stand-up, the stage is our gym, and it has all been taken away from us this year. And it's no one's fault. And there's plenty of professions that have it worse. This is no victim statement, but boy, is it interesting to be in my shoes today.
Is that all right? Did you guys feel safe? Okay, good. I don't. This isn't really a joke so much as a thought I had. I didn't realize this. I got caught. When I go shopping now, you wear the mask, but there's no eye protection. But I found myself checking out other people's butts, and like they can still see my eyes, but for some reason I just feel brave that they can't see my mouth. Like what? Like I don't know what that is, but I'm like, yeah, that's right. But I'm over. Like I became like creepy old guy level of guy. Like. I don't think women do that. I think it's a guy thing. I don't know. I just found myself doing that. I don't know. I'm not just checking out women. I'm checking out everybody. And you know, it's Los Angeles. Everyone looks good in Los Angeles. You gotta look at everybody. I don't know.
So look, stand-up is one of those career paths that looking back on it, I can see all the steps, failures, successes that it took to get here, but I never at all imagined that I was going to be pursuing stand-up. I got a degree in business because that's just what you did. I got my first job out of college at an ad agency, fired 7 months later. Just wasn't good at the job, didn't care about it, which is kind of how it goes in life. If I don't have anything that I'm passionate about, I put in the worst effort. I think a lot of people that care about you in life give bad advice. I know, parents, teachers, they want you to have the safest life possible. For the most part, they want you to get a job with a good retirement, good health care, good X, Y, and Z. But do they ever ask you about doing something you love? And my life has been a struggle. There's been times when I don't know what job I'm going to take. There's been times where I got to go do a job I don't want to do. And it's a part of the hustle. But in the end, I work on projects that I have passion for and that I love, and they take me into the wee hours of the night. And part of it's because it's stuff I love to do. So if there's anyone out there that's just like wondering, like, what do I want to do with my life? Because 2020 has showed you that you can't rely on health insurance with your job. You can't rely on other people. You only get one shot at it. So like, what are you going to do? So that's the conundrum, right? Sometimes the things you want to pursue in life, you can't afford to. But at the same time, you can't afford not to. Like, what are you going to do that you love? What are you going to do that builds equity into your life? That's going to bring value to you? And the easiest way to know if you're on the right path, it's simple. Like, do you enjoy telling people what you're doing? Do your eyes light up when you get to tell someone about the new job you have or the new gig or the new project you're working on? And the problem with a lot of creative jobs is they don't pay you until the project's finished. My GoPro keeps falling over. Deciding to film on the roof might have been the worst idea possible on the windiest day possible, but I'm committed to making VLOGMAS a challenge for me to do different things and to enjoy the process. Because I'm looking at some of these other VLOGMAS videos that people are making, and like, look, do whatever it is that brings you joy, right? Whatever it is that brings you joy. But it's like, no one wants to see what my nighttime routine is, okay? So this is it. I've got the roof. This is what I have. I'm gonna fly my drone. It's 50 miles an hour winds. 2 cameras are tipping over, and I got you, babe. So I got a degree in business. I loved college. I was social chair in a fraternity. I studied abroad in Marseille, France. I really, really had a blast. I loved connecting with other people. And then I get a job in business, which was fine. It was fair. I just sucked at it. It wasn't for me. You know what I mean? The job wasn't for me. I wasn't good at it, so I got fired. My mom tried to tell people, oh, they laid him off. No. I got fired. I sucked at it. I failed. And it's okay to know when you failed. It's okay to just take one on the chin and say, I failed. I wasn't good enough to do that. It's those failures that we ping pong off us that bring us down the bowling alley of success. And I really mean that. If I was on any other client at that company, I might have been just good enough to not get fired. No one wants that. It was kind of nice that they were able to make the decision for me. So from there, I started. I didn't know what I wanted to do, But Craigslist was big, so I started auditioning. I went on Craigslist and started auditioning for different film projects, TV, and I was able to get into the Screen Actors Guild that summer. I got on my first pilot, which was called CK8 Run. Small role with Amy Smart, who was my teen sex throb idol. You guys remember her from Road Trip? Everyone loved Amy Smart. So I was going on the right path. But I was auditioning for things that were like boring, dramatic. Nothing was funny. So I decided to start writing my own things. I started writing sketches. FunnyOrDie.com was big. I started posting sketches on FunnyOrDie.com, writing my own things, casting them, putting my own money into them, doing side gigs, doing background and extra work on every single project that filmed in New York City or Boston. Non-stop hustling. Everything I did was for creativity. But I was still scared to go on stage. I didn't have any theater training. I was afraid to go on stage. I finally signed up for an improv class at Upright Citizens Brigade called UCB. I took that. I started to get into the flow of having fun on stage, which wasn't easy to do. I still hide behind this weird exoskeleton of, don't be too loud, don't laugh too much. I'm not blaming anyone in my family. I'm not blaming the Catholic Church, but it was a combination of all that. Just a quiet upbringing, never laughing to my true levels I wanted to laugh, never joking around to the levels I wanted to joke. I just wanted to play. That's what it's all about, right? It's life. We want to play. What else are we doing here if it's not to have a fun time? And to think that someone would pay me to have a fun time on stage, that's what I want to sign up for. For me, the reason I've been investing so much time and energy into YouTube is that I see it as a solution to a lot of the barriers that exist in stand-up comedy. Now, obviously, with the 2020 pandemic happening, we can't perform live on stage, but YouTube does provide a forum where you can reach so many more people. I mean, I've got videos that have more views than anyone I've ever performed for, all put together, and that's something you can't look at lightly. So if I have a chance to build a couple extra fans, if I have a chance to build a couple extra followers, maybe some people that'll come to a stand-up show, then the bus rolls on. Facebook started becoming a big thing when I was in college, and you started to see YouTube and people were sharing sketches. I started to perform live on stage, but I still hadn't done stand-up comedy because in my head it was all Chris Rock, or you're either live at the Apollo or you're nothing. And then you go to an open mic. You see that everyone else is trying as hard as they can. Everyone sucks, and then you slowly graduate to a competent comic where you can go on stage at any time and get laughs, make people laugh. Which, isn't always the case. You're still going to bomb here or there, but the point is like learning how to take the fear of getting on stage and using it. The shakiness in the hands becomes the jazz hands. And that's what happens. The longer you pursue a goal, the more comfortable you become. The number one thing people say is like, geez, I just don't know how you can get on stage and do it. Well, you can't afford not to get on stage and do it. Because the alternative sucks. The alternative to not pursuing your dreams is a life where every day you're brushing your teeth, looking yourself in the mirror, going, man, I am not living the authentic life I wish I could live. So the second that you start living the authentic life you wish you could live, even if it doesn't pay, even for all of my friends that are living out of their cars, it's on the path. And you'd rather be on the right path than on a different path. And so what a lot of people have learned in 2020, we've had everything stripped away from us, is that those that played it safe, where did it get you? I'm on a roof, I'm alive, I didn't play it safe. So by playing it safe, what did it get you? And I understand, there's limitations of all sorts, some are valid. You might have kids, you need healthcare for your family, I totally understand. But doesn't that tell you that there's a problem we have with society? That you have to take a job you don't want, that you have to join the military to afford student loans, that you have to do X, Y, and Z? One of my favorite quotes was from Randy Pausch. He wrote the last lecture when he was terminally ill. He was a professor at Carnegie Mellon. He said the brick walls weren't meant to keep people out. They were meant to show people how bad they wanted something. So what's your brick wall? How bad do you want something, and what are you willing to do to get there? And part of it's just by having a growth mindset. Part of it's just knowing how to Google the right thing. Say, how do I do X, Y, and Z? And you might find out it's a whole lot of work and you don't really want to do that. But you might find out that, hey, you know what? I might not be able to do 60 minutes at Madison Square Garden and make a room full of 15,000 people laugh, but maybe I can get on stage this one time for 3.5 minutes and get a laugh. And then maybe I can take that laugh and add another tag and get 2 laughs. And then maybe, you know what? I can do 10 minutes of that. oh, you know what, maybe I can start, and then it's one thing after another, and you just progress slowly. You know, they say perfection is the enemy of good, and the problem that a lot of people have is that they just want everything to turn out perfectly, when you just need to realize that what you have today is enough. This is my Vlogmas day 15. This is all I got. This is enough for today, okay? I'm on a roof, there's hawks flying overhead, it's blowing 55-mile-an-hour winds, I got palm fronds whipping around, my camera fell 15 times. Today is enough. And by doing this, I'm one step closer to my goals than by doing nothing. And that's just what it is. The problem I always had growing up is I never knew what that goal is that I wanted, and it's never been more clearly now. I want to create, and I want to share. One of my favorite mantras is, I am enough, I have enough, and I want to share it. And God damn it, is it as simple as that. So I guess the message today is like not about being funny, it's about being real. It's about just like finding a way to be real, be authentic in a time when that's all you've got. All you've got is your authenticity. All you've got is the chance to be you. So all I have to say is the console has been unplugged and the video game has been reset. What are we going to make of it? That's it for me. Vlogmas Day 15. That you love doing. And the problem with a lot of creative jobs